Vâng.
Ok. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha
Madhava
Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari
Jai Gopi
Gopijana Balla
Girivaradhari.
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari
Jai Gopi
Gopijana Balla Girvarada
Girivaradhari.
Yashodanandana Brajajanaranja
Yashodanandana Sajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajajanaranja
Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana
Yamunatiravanachari
Yamunatira
Vanachari
Yamunatiravanachari
Yamunatira
Vanachari
Vanachari.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai
Jaya Radha Madhava
Radha
Punjabi Hari.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna
Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu Jana
Nityananda Shri Advaita
Gadada Shirivasadi
Radharani
Gaur
Gaura Bhakta
Bhakta
Vrinda.
Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya Prabhu
Prabhu Nityananda Shri Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
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 Hare Hare,
Hare
Rama
Hare Rama
Rama,
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama Hare
Hare Hare,
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada,
Jaya Prabhupada
Prabhupada,
Jaya
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada
Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Sutara Shishimari's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai
Jai,
Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai
Jai,
Jai Gaura Premanandi.
Hari Hari Bo,
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna,
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna,
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna,
All glories to Shri Shri Guru and God. All glories to Srila Prabhupada
Mata
Ki
Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Shri Bhadai Krishna Prasad Krishna Krishna Goswami. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatar Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya
नारायणं
त्वत्कृत्या
नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं
नरं
चैव
चैव
नरोत्तमं
नरोत्तमम्
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं
देवीं सरस्वतीं
सरस्वतीमव्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरये
ततो
ततो
जयमुदीरये
जयमुदीरये
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु
नित्यं भगवत सेवया
नित्यं
नित्यं
भागवत सेवया
भगवतसेवया
भगवते उत्तमश्लोके
भगवती
भगवति उत्तमश्लोके
उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैस्तिकी.
भक्तिर्भवति
भवति
नैष्ठिकी
नैष्ठिकी।
So we are reading from Canto 4, the creation of the fourth order, chapter 25, the descriptions of the characteristics of King Puranjana, text 19. Nanaranya mrigavratayir
नानारण्यमृगव्राते
Nanaranya mrigavratayir
नानारण्यमृगव्राते
Anabade munivratai
अनाबाधे
अनाबाधे
मुनिव्रते
मुनिव्रतैः
Anabade munivratai
अनाबाधे
अनाबाधे
मुनिव्रते
मुनिव्रतैः
Ahutam manyate panto
आहुतं
आहुतं
मन्यते
मन्यते
पान्तो
पान्तो
Ahutam manyate panto
आहुतं
आहुतं
मन्यते
मन्यते
Panto
पान्तो
पान्तो
Yatra kokila kujitai
यत्र
यत्र कोकिल
कोकिला
कूजितैः
Yatra kokila kujitai
यत्र
यत्र कोकिल
पूजिते
कूजितैः
Nanaranya mrigavratayir
नानारण्यमृगव्राते
नानारण्यमृगव्राते
Anabade munivratai
अनाबाधे
अनाबाधे मुनिव्रतैः
मुनिव्रते
Ahutam manyate manto
आहुतं
आहुतं मन्यते
मन्यते पान्तो
पान्तो
Yatra kokila kujitai.
यत्र
यत्र कोकिल
कोकिला
कूजितैः
So maybe a couple of you can chant.
नानारण्यमृगव्रतेर्
नानारण्यमृगव्रातैः
अनाबाधे मुनिव्रतेः
अनाबाधे मुनिव्रतैः
आहुलं मन्यते पान्थो
आहुतं मन्यते
मन्यते
पान्तो
पान्तो
यत्र कोकिलकुज्जितेः
यत्र
यत्र कोकिल
कोकिल
कूजिते
कूजितैः
अनारण्यमृगव्राते
मृगव्रातये
नानारण्यमृगव्रातैः
अनाबाधे मुनिव्रतः
अनाबाधे
अनाबाधे
मुनिव्रतैः
मुनिव्रतैः
आहूतं मन्यते पान्थो
आहुतं
आहूतं
मन्यते
मन्यते पान्थो
पान्तो
यत्र कोकिलकूजितः
Yatra
यत्र
यत्र
कोकिल
कोकिल
कूजितैः
कूजितैः
Okay.
नानारण्यमृगव्रतैर्
नानारण्यमृगव्रते
नानारण्यमृगव्रातैः
अनाबाधे मुनिव्रतैः
Anabade
अनाबाधे
munivratai
मुनिव्रते
मुनिव्रतैः
आहूतं मन्यते पान्थो
Ahutam
आहुतं
आहुतं
manyate
मन्यते पान्तो
panto
यत्र कोकिल कूजितैः
Yatra
यत्र
kokila kujitai
कोकिलकूजितैः
Nana
नाना
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 various
yes
Aranya
अरण्य
Aranya
forests
forest
forest
Mriga
मृगा
animals
animal
animals
Vratai
Vrataihi.
Vrataihi.
with groups.
with
With
group,
groups.
With groups.
Anabade
Anabade.
in the matter of non-violence.
In
the
the
matter
matter of
of
non-violence.
Muni Vratai,
Muni
Vrataihi.
Vrataihi.
like the great sages.
Like the
Like the
great
great
sages.
sages.
Ahutam,
Ahutam.
as if invited.
As if invited.
As if
Manyate,
Manyate.
Manyate.
thinks.
thing,
Thinks.
Pantaha,
Pantaha.
Pantaha.
passenger.
passenger,
Passenger.
Yatra,
Yatra.
where?
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 Kokila,
Kokila.
of cuckoos.
Of
Of cuckoos.
Ujitai,
Pujite.
by the cooing.
By
By
the
the
cooing.
cooing.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Translation: in such an atmosphere, even the animals of the forest became non-violent and non-envious like great sages. Consequently, the animals did not attack anyone. Over and above everything was the cooing of the cuckoos. Any passenger passing along that path was invited by that atmosphere to take rest in that nice garden. Please repeat, in such an atmosphere,
In such an atmosphere,
atmosphere,
even the animals of the forest
even the
Even the
animals of the
animals of the
forest
forest
became non-violent and non-envious
became non-violent and
and
non-envious,
non-envious,
like great sages.
like great
like great
great
sages.
sages,
Consequently,
Consequently,
the animals did not attack anyone.
the animals did not attack
animals
anyone.
did not attack
anyone,
Over and above,
Over and above,
over and above.
everything was the cooing of the cuckoos.
everything
everything
was the cooing of the
cuckoo,
cuckoos.
Actually, it should be over and above everything was the cooing of the cuckoos. Okay. Any passenger passing along
Any
any
passenger
passenger
Passing
passing
along
along
that path
that
that
path
was
path
invited by that atmosphere
was invited by that
by that
atmosphere
atmosphere
to take rest in that nice garden.
to take rest
take
in that
rest
nice garden.
in that nice garden.
Okay, purport. A peaceful family with wife and children is compared to the peaceful atmosphere of the forest. Children are compared to non-violent animals. Sometimes, however, wives and children are called swajanakya dashyu, burglars in the name of kinsmen. A man earns his livelihood with hard labor, but the result is that he is plundered by his wife and children, exactly as a person in a forest is attacked by some thieves and burglars who take his money. Nonetheless, in family life, the turmoil of wife and children appears to be like the cooing of the cuckoos in the garden of family life. Been invited by such an atmosphere, the person who is passing through such a blissful family life desires to have his family with him at all costs. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jana Shalakaya Chakshushanmritamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalum Pangum Langete Girim Yatkripatamam Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramanandamadam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gadodaya Pushpamto Chitra Sando Tamo. Once again, Nanaranya Mrigavrate Ranabade Muni Vrate Just want to make sure it doesn't shake. Ahutam manyate panto yatra kokila kujitai. In such an atmosphere, even the animals of the forest became non-violent and non-envious like great sages. Consequently, the animals did not attack anyone. Over and above everything was the cooing of the cuckoos. Any passenger passing along that path was invited by that atmosphere to take rest in that nice garden. Okay, so this is a very, I would say it's a very famous chapter because it's where Narada Muni actually feels compassion towards King Prachina Barhishad. Why is he feeling compassion? Is because the king comes in an exalted lineage of Maharaj Dhruva, very exalted, huh? and everyone in his lineage, Dhruva Maharaj lineage, become great devotees of Lord Krishna. Unfortunately, or for some reason, King Prachina Barhishad was very much engaged in fruitive activities. Not that he didn't want to worship Vishnu or anything like this, but he was so much more attracted to karma kanda activities, yagnas, so that the country, the citizens, everyone will get benefit. But in doing that, he forgot the goal of life, actually. Now, he has exalted sons, the Prachetas. So they have already left home and gone to meditate in the ocean, to pray to Lord Shiva. And that's in the previous chapter, right? The song of Lord Shiva. Now, the problem with karma kanda activities and performing all these yagnas is that there's no possibility of going back to the eternal supreme. We can't go there. So therefore, Narada Muni's compassion for the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj is proper. Because this is actually King Prachina Barhisha is a qualified person. Sometimes the spiritual master will not give instructions to the disciple because they may not be qualified to take it up. But here, Narada feeling compassion, and he also understands it's about time for King Prachina Barhisha to actually come out of this situation that he has dug himself into. So here Narada is educating the king, and so he tells a story of King Puranjana, which is actually a story about King Prachina Barhishat himself. But in a parable, he talks in a parable so that he can teach him the importance of performing devotional service or bhakti yoga rather than fruitive activities. So thus far, Narada is describing this wonderful situation of here in this particular verse, you can say a family life. But although he's painting a nice picture, still we should remember what Krishna says in the 13th chapter Bhagavad Gita, verses 8 to 12, where he says, Ashaktir anavishvanga putradara grihadishu. Thank you. That means one should be free from children, or not get entangled with children. I'm talking to Pavana here, and he's like looking at me. He's got 2 kids. But Krishna is saying about there's a difference. Ashakti, that means getting too attached and just being caring for children. So Krishna's point is one shouldn't become too entangled with children, wife, the home, and everything else centered around the griha. So then Prabhupada also mentions within the purport of that chapter, for that section where he goes, that he says it's not that you can't have feelings for all these people. He says they are natural. So one can have natural affection for their own family members. But at the same time, he cautions that it is unfavorable if there's too much attachment for spiritual advancement. That's a concern from our Acharya. He wants us to be very careful. If you are too attached, then they will hamper spiritual progress, meaning our focus may not be on the spirituality. We become too involved in all nitty-gritty of family life. And so he proposes that devotees with family are the best example. In general, you see in society, most people don't they are not really religious. All sorts of societies you see, whether they are Christians, Muslims, Jews, whatever, Chinese, whatever religion they are. Mostly, the way we live our lives nowadays, we become more focused on the family, how to live a good life. It boils down to that, actually. Not so much as what is the goal of life, right? What is my goal? Who am I? What am I doing here? What is my goal? Where am I going next? Yeah. These concerns are never addressed in society. But in Krishna consciousness, these are the things we always should be asking. So therefore, Prabhupada says the best process for making the home pleasant is practicing Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness. Which is easy, because once well, not easy in maybe the practice, but once you are Krishna conscious, things become more meaningful. Then he can make his or her home very happy. Now, in the purport, when you look at the purport, you see that Srila Prabhupada says that that a man earns so hard labor, through hard labor. But this is a general statement. Nowadays, both men and women are also working. So therefore, one cannot say only men are working, and especially nowadays, you can't talk like that. And he is plundered by his wife and children. Not necessarily now, the woman may be working and the men may be plundering the wife for the wealth and so on. So therefore, we should also balance out, and when we make statements, we have to be very clear that it applies to both genders, and so people can understand what we are talking about. So here, Prabhupada's point is that we can all become happy when we practice Krishna conscious nicely. And Prabhupada says, very easy. One only need to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He says that. And then he says that whatever we cook, we offer. I mean, obviously, we're talking about vegetarian food. And then accept the remnants of this food. And then the third thing he says is one should read and discuss books, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, just like we are all doing here. So that's very nice. And for grihastas especially, deity worship is essential. That means do some puja. If you don't have murtis in your home, then must do pujas. If you have murtis and so on, then it becomes another level of devotion service. Of course, if you have many deities, some people have hundreds of shilas and so on. You get one prominent shila to worship the rest. But if you have physically murtis, 2 sets, 3 sets, and then you will see that they will take your time. If you are free and you don't have to work, then it's okay. You can stay there the whole day doing deity worship. But most people cannot do that. Huh? So Prabhupada's point is, if you can do these 4 things every day, chanting, uh, and then taking prasadam, and doing deity worship, and discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, if you can do that in your home daily, he says one will become happy. Otherwise, if you look at the ordinary, not devotees, ordinary people out there, what is their standard of happiness? What is the standard? Everyone has their own standards of happiness. I have a big house. Many times people have big house, and then not only houses, nowadays they don't even have children. Instead of children, here it says animals that are not non-violent, because children, although they can make noise and so on, but they are not aggressive like animals. When they speak, it's cooing. It sounds like a cuckoo bird. And it's soothing and feels so pleasurable, right? Especially babies, when they talk baby talk, everyone gets so entrenched, trance. There's a whole thing like that. But like as I said, nowadays I have noticed more and more people are not having children, but they have big houses, and these houses, instead of having children, they actually get animals, pet animals, dogs or cats or iguana or something, birds in cages and so on, and they hire servants to come and clean the house or something like that. But mostly they themselves are not in the home. They go and work like a dog, or like a camel or a mule or a donkey. A whole day they'll be working, and in the meantime, the dog and cat in the house, they are actually the masters. They walk around the house, they look everywhere and say, okay, everything looks good. and all this hard work, hard labor, who is getting the pleasure? Who's enjoying it actually? They come home and they think, oh, such a big house, and then they do some some kind of cooking or ordering boga from the restaurant, and then they eat TV dinners. They watch some shows. Mostly nowadays in US, in America, they do Netflix. Everywhere Netflix. Okay, everywhere, and this is their life. And unknowingly or knowingly, they are wasting their valuable human form of life, and its next life will be, for them, their promotion is to become cats and dogs so that they can be masters of another home. If they take birth in US or in the first countries, first, what is this, third world kind of, first world countries, yeah. If you take birth in India, maybe India also, I hear people are having dogs everywhere. So, but if you take birth in some of these countrysides in India or in Vrindavan, they beat the dogs and cats and all the animals. Really, the dog knows he is a dog. In the Western countries, the dog thinks he's a family member, and in America, they call the owners of the dogs Mama and Papa. It's right. I don't know about this here in Australia, but here also, oh God, just see, they are, as they say, everything is going to the dogs now. Yeah. But as devotees, when we become aware of this unfortunate thing, then we should really search ourselves and see, is this what we want for ourselves? And when we see others going through that, we should also feel sorry for them, compassionate, maybe help them by giving them prasadam. And if we can live a model Krishna conscious family where everyone can engage happily, then others will see and say, how is it that you have no attachment to movies or going out and eating and all those things? How is it that you live? You're not going to the beach unnecessarily. You're not going to some football match or some orchestra. You're not spending time like us. Sometimes they ask. Um, Ultimately, if the situation is not favorable, Prabhupada says, if either the man or the wife finds that their life is unfavorable, or the husband doesn't support Krishna consciousness, or the wife doesn't want to be Krishna conscious, then he says, then family life should be abandoned. Family, just like we see Prabhupada for many years, he was trying to encourage his wife, although she is Vedic, still she wasn't interested in being in devotional practice. So finally, he took vanaprastha, and then ultimately he took sannyas. And of course, he's a pure devotee, so his life was probably arranged by Krishna. Everything is a leela in his case. But the point is, Srila Prabhupada wants us to know that the ultimate goal is to go back to God. Spiritual advancement is very important. If we fail to use this human form of life at this stage, then that sacrifice is a terrible loss. Because we are meant to sacrifice everything else to know Krishna. But if we sacrifice Krishna for our family life, that's a very terrible loss. In the same way, we can see how Arjuna also came to the same conclusion, that it doesn't matter, win or die, the battle, I will do what Krishna wants. So that's the ultimate sacrifice. He didn't want to kill his family members. But when he understood these same family members are an impediment for me to serve Krishna, to love Krishna, then he accepted Krishna's instruction and killed his cousin brothers and others in the battle. In any case, in ordinary circumstances or even in devotional circumstances, family life will be full of happiness as well as distress also. That's what we have to become detached from. Sometimes happiness will come, sometimes distress will come. We have no control over these things. So therefore, devotees are required to understand. Just like today I'm happy, tomorrow in this material world I will face some unhappiness. So every time when there's a lot of happiness, you should be very cautious and think, "Oh, I may be going through the high, and I may have to go down and then suffer." So, so that's very important. And this place is not meant for happiness. Prabhupada said, "Don't live here. Practice nicely and get out." This place is meant for suffering. The material world is meant for suffering. And in family life, in the same chapter, Prabhupada says, self-control is very important. Anyone, both husband and wife, must control. Basically, they have to control their sex life. Otherwise, it will cause them to fall down. If they don't need children, then they shouldn't have sex life. But if they want children, then they should only have sex life to have children. In the modern society, that's not the case. Everywhere they insist. They go to the doctors. They insist on wanting contraceptive methods so that they can enjoy sex life. All they do is the worst thing they can do to enjoy themselves is they do abortion. And they kill the children in the womb so that they can enjoy. They don't want the responsibility of maintaining children in the family. So such ugra karma out there, if we associate with such people, then we also will lose our ability to become transcendental. Rather, we'll become demoniac. So the serious point is anyone who's serious about Krishna consciousness must control their sex life. It doesn't matter, you have to. If there are cases where people want to enjoy, they say they're devotees, but they still want to enjoy sex life. So they have so many children, unnecessarily, and then they can't maintain them. And then they blame anyone, they blame the society, they blame the government. They say they're not helping the people in general. We are poor, we have become Krishna conscious, we have given up material things, now no one is supporting. So all these are not a proper understanding of what Krishna consciousness is. Sometimes practicing devotees also use this as an excuse. There was a conversation where one devotee is asking Srila Prabhupada about having sex, So Prabhupada said, no, only for children. Then he said, but Prabhupada, I can't control. Then Prabhupada said, maybe you do, I guess he said once in 6 months or no. He said, no, Prabhupada, he keeps arguing. So finally Prabhupada gets, Prabhupada says, no, you do once a month for children, otherwise don't do. Then he said, no, I can't do this. Then finally he said, you just go away, get out, do what you want. Because if Prabhupada is compassionate in that case, because if the disciple don't follow the instruction of the spiritual master, then he becomes condemned. So therefore, Prabhupada says, just do what you want. In a frustration, of course, that the disciple is not going to make any tangible advancement, but at least he's not offensive to his guru. And the guru is unhappy. In a sense, he is offensive, but the Srila Prabhupada didn't want him to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Yeah. But if you are very Krishna conscious, then Prabhupada gives the example of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, because he had 12, 13 children. Yeah, but every one of them Krishna conscious, is Krishna conscious. Yeah. So then Prabhupada says, if you are like that, then you can produce hundreds of children. Or even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, he says, if he is very Krishna conscious, then he'll have hundreds of children like that. Yeah. Otherwise it will only end up in sense gratification. Yeah. All right. So that's one aspect of family life. The other aspect is for a wife, in the Shastra, it is said that there are 4 principles she has to follow. This is in the 7th chapter. No, 7th canto, 11th chapter. The prescribed duties for the varnas, 4 varnas, like that. There Srila Narada Muni talks to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and he says the wife has to serve the husband favorably, and then she has favorably she has to, and then she has to be favorably disposed to the husband's friends and relatives. Of course, nowadays this is becoming more and more difficult. And then the third thing is she has to follow the vows of the husband. So first is to there's one more: serve the husband. then favorably disposed towards the husband, then favorably disposed towards the husband's friends and relatives, and then the last one is vows of the husband. Whatever vows he has taken, she has to support him. So then he says these are the 4 principles that a chaste wife will follow. Basically, a chaste wife means that she will support him, and she is not thinking about illicit relationship outside the marriage, for the family to be in a happy situation. Prabhupada also says that even if the husband is not like Kardama Muni, or even if he is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even if he is a demon, or is just an ordinary person, the wife can always be chaste in all situations, whether it's a demon or not. And being chaste means the environment, the family life becomes peaceful, and therefore they all can be happily, married life can be happy. And he quotes also Chandaka Pandit saying that if the family environment is peaceful, and if husband and wife never quarrels, then he says the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, resides in such a house. Yeah. So therefore, we can conclude loving relationships brings about opulence, prosperity, and stability in the family. Okay. Of course, if the situation is stable, everyone is happy, then the end result is good progeny. Everyone is contented, and they want proper good children, so they follow Garbhadana Samskar, and then and why is it necessary? Because then it brings about peace, prosperity again, and spiritual progress ultimately. If you have good children, they will listen to good instructions, and they will become good people. Right? If you do not follow the principles properly, then if you conceive children who are not in the right consciousness, if you conceive, then the children that you attract in the womb are not of a good or higher caliber. Yeah. And the other thing is, women are meant to be protected, and one of the reasons is they can raise children by setting good examples in terms of austerity and spirituality. In the Shastra it says, normally you see when particularly among Indians, you see when they migrate to another country, the women normally, she is more religious, and they maintain everything from where they come from. I'm saying normally, maybe things are changing. uh, at least when I was growing up, that's how I saw that mostly the women are so strict with all the rules, the regulations, the shastrikal, fasting time. The husbands, they don't care, even in the dressing also, the husbands won't dress in their traditional attire, whereas the women will be very strict about it. So you can see, if they are protected, and if they are not unscrupulous men, don't take advantage of them, or if they don't mix around with so many different men, then they will set good examples. So then the children also will understand the principles of austerity, and the goodness of why one should be performing spirituality at home also, why religion is very important. Yeah. So therefore, these are things that we should think about. And also, when the children are stable and they're happy in the family, then you don't have mental issues, mental health issues. It's a big thing now, It's been becoming a big thing since COVID, I think, right? And then you won't have dysfunctional family, and then you won't have any antisocial behavior or drug dependencies. Yeah, this is very common nowadays in many society. But if the family is happy family and the husband protects the wife happily, the wife can then guide the children, and then they can be fully engaged for the benefit of man, you can say human society, or proper contributing citizens of society. Nowadays, if you proper citizen of society means you have to pay tax. If you're not paying tax, then you are useless bugger. So when we go on Harinam and people think we are not working or anything, they'll say, go find a job, get a job. Now in the second canto, in the first chapter, in the beginning, Sukadeva Goswami tells Maharaj Parikshit, it's a famous verse, Shrotavyadini Rajendra. That means people give their oral reception, Shrotavyadin Raja Nirnam Shantim Sahasra Saha. That means they give their oral reception to all kinds of nonsense. So we see that more so nowadays because the media is so prevalent everywhere. Due to the fact that we have mobile phones. Not just phone, it's a mobile entertainment gadget now. So all kinds of nonsense has been told and everyone is listening to all this nonsense rather than Atma Tattva. So they fail to understand Atma Tattva. Apastyatyam Atma Tattvam Griheshu Griha Medinam. So because they fail to inquire about the what the goal of life is, rather they go about trying to figure out what is good in life, what is the best thing in sports and so on, and they misuse of their life. So Prabhupada also comments in that verse, he says that there are two types, because here the verse is Griheshu and Griha Medi and Grihasta and Griha Medi. Yeah. So there are two kinds, Grihasta and Griha Medi. Grihasta is someone who understand the purpose in life. They understand how to live a good family life. They understand the need of children and how to raise the children. They understand what religiosity means. Opposing to that is the Griha Medas. They may know some aspects of it, but they don't want to pursue the goal of life. Rather, they think sense enjoyment is the best thing for them. And that's one thing. Prabhupada also says they work so hard for the benefit of their family members. And extrapolation, they will say, think of the village. A little more extrapolation, they'll think in terms of my state, right? For example, while I was in Perth, they were talking about the what is that? The Origin State football match. It was such a big thing. Everywhere, billboard sign, Origin State. So you can say they talk about state level. Then when you go to Olympics, it's the country. Everyone suffers the country level. So this is what Grihamedi is all about, for benefit of family, society, state, or the entire country like that. Medi, the word Medi means enviousness or jealousy. So therefore, the Griha Medis, they look at one another. One family looks at another family and they are envious of each other. They do not say it, but they are very envious of each other. So they are never in good terms. Externally, they'll smile, but the whole idea is to compete and show the other that I'm better than you, because the whole thing is selfish interest. Um, and all because there is no Atma Tattva, no understanding of what real religious principles are. So therefore, you have all this unhappiness in terms of they rather hear some politics So some group who support one politician will feel happy. Another group who are losing out, they'll feel unhappy. And they will not ask questions about why I'm suffering. Rather, they are thinking, oh, what is the scientific discovery now? What are the social things that people are now doing, and how is the economy so that I can do my sense enjoyment. So all this is based on poor fund of true knowledge. Whenever Prabhupada says poor fund of knowledge, he's referring to this chapter 13, verses 8 to 12, where Krishna says, all these are knowledge, everything else is ignorance. Uh, so our life as devotees, what we are making is we are finding out through our practices of Krishna consciousness, we are trying to figure out a solution to our birth, death, old age, and disease. Dukkha doshanu darshanam, janma mritu jara vyadi. So we have to. Krishna says this is these are evils of life because we are spirit souls, so not supposed to go through old age, death, disease, and birth. So therefore, for us, from a pure platform, it's an evil thing. So we have to look for solution to get out of this cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. But if we don't, then we are just like any ordinary griha medis, and therefore we cause problems not only for ourselves, for everyone else. So we should be competent enough to understand that if we try to find enjoyment and happiness, it is the greatest waste of time in this world. It's so much struggle, right? The government nowadays, they make your life so difficult that you end up having to work all your life until you die. Right? You can see, I was surprised to see that the houses in Australia is so expensive. It's gone up. When I was here 20, 30 years ago, no, 40 years ago, the house was only like 60 to 100,000, 150,000. If it was 250, it was like really big, nice, and but nowadays it goes in millions. It's meaningless. Who can afford it? Yeah, so therefore the government, instead of trying to give people time so that they can do religious activity, they take away all their time and energy working to pay tax and bills for the home. And the poor griha medis or poor man, he or woman, they try to win over this material nature, thinking I will do yoga, I will go to the gym, and my children will support me, my wife will support me, my relatives will support. But you will find they will all abandon you. I have seen it with my own eyes. People dying, and the family members are arguing among themselves, saying who will get what. And the people are not yet dead. There was a devotee, she did not write in the will that the devotees will take care of her. So her family members came. So she's dying of cancer. She's dying in a few more days, she'll be dead. So, but she's still conscious, she's looking. Her family members said no devotees in the house. So the devotees were just allowed to stand, but not allowed to, because the lady said, no, I still want them not to make noise or just watch. So then the family members were fighting with each other. I want the car. She's dying. I want that car. And then another one is like, I'll take the laptop and so on. So it was sad. And the devotees' eyes, you can see, they are all very unhappy like that. So ultimately, no one is going to survive in the struggle with the material energy. Yeah, and we see our friends, relatives, and even our own children. After some time, they also will give up their life, and they cannot save us. And so we thinking we are going to be safe, but we are not going to be safe. And that is very important. So we need to understand this principle. And there's a funny incident with Shrutakirti. I'll finish this with this pastime, and then we can open for discussion. Shrutakirti was married and he had children and he was with his wife. So Prabhupada asked him, so you're married now, you have children, you'll stay here with your wife? And he said, yes, Prabhupada, I will stay with my wife. And then Prabhupada said, oh, so you're going to take care of them? And he said, yes. Then Prabhupada says, Prabhupada, I will stay and take care of my wife. And then there was a sannyasi with Srila Prabhupada and he started laughing. And then he said, Prabhupada, I know why a woman is called a tiger or tigress, but why are the children considered jackals? And then Prabhupada said, well, children in so many ways, they create inconvenience for the father. They say they want this, they want that, and they are always disturbing the father so much. And in this way, the father, even though he comes home, he hears all these requests. He goes to bed, but he cannot sleep. He's thinking, how am I going to get all these things? So Prabhupada says, in this way, it is just like the jackals eating the flesh. In this case, the children are eating the flesh of the father. He has to put so much energy. And this is the way jackals are. They keep eating the flesh of the animals. Even when they are alive, they'll bite. Jackals are like that. They'll bite. If the animal is small and cannot escape, that's what they do. So the children are like jackals. They're always putting the father in so much disturbance and difficulty. So Shrutakirti was saying that he was sitting there listening to Prabhupada, and then he was thinking, God, here I am, and Prabhupada is with me, and he's telling me that I'm going to stay with a tiger and jackal. So then he said, as soon as he understood what was Prabhupada trying to tell him by asking him, are you going to stay with your family? You're going to do this? He immediately told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I'm thinking that I should come with you. Prabhupada didn't say anything, just said, all right, and walked away. So I will stop there and then open up for discussions with all of you. Any comments, questions? You can unmute and talk, otherwise.
Hare Krishna, Radha Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
This is Kadambini Radha Devidasi speaking.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Kadambini Radha Mataji.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Such a wonderful class you are giving. And most of people in this class, the forum, we are all Gristas.
Grastas.
And we know that we are somehow in this Grista life, and especially living in this Western society, living in Australia.
Yeah.
As you mentioned about the prices of houses and everything so expensive. And as far as I know, many women have their, second part that they go to work. And I have worked in my life, I was a medical practitioner, now retired. And I had 2 children, and I was working along with my husband, who is also a medical practitioner. And I have seen that it's so hard when you are in Krishna consciousness. And I'm really fortunate that I have been working and raising my children. And fortunately, both my children, they are Krishna conscious.
Nice.
And, initiated devotees. But it's not a very easy job. And we in this society, we have to work together, whether it's a man or a woman. I know Prabhupada, in that chapter we mentioned about in the 7 cantos, the perfect, society and social order, how women have to. But sometimes it becomes very difficult,
Yes.
for a woman. And actually it is a very difficult job for a woman, because she has to actually, work through both the duties of a working woman
Yes.
and at the same time looking after the family. So,
Yes.
what do you suggest in this case? What women should be doing?
Well, you cannot change what's happening. Rather, you change your consciousness. And the husbands should also understand this reality, and so they should also help out. They should also take turns cooking, taking care of children also, so that both parties are not stressed out unnecessarily. Otherwise, as you rightly pointed out, the ladies have to do two jobs or three jobs sometime. That's not fair. If they have to take care of the home nicely as well as do other things, then they should either quit the work outside and just take care of children. But as you said, if you want to have big houses and so on, then you end up working so hard. um, the other thing is maybe one should see if a simple house is good enough, or do you really need a house that is too expensive. Obviously, I know this statement may not be also valid because of the cost of houses nowadays. Everything is too expensive. Now, in some countries where the prices are exorbitant, the devotees just rent the places, yeah, because they find that it's cheaper to rent rather than own a house. So ultimately, living in this modern society, you should know, and I guess everyone should come to that conclusion that this is not the best place to live. We should actually become more serious in our Krishna consciousness, open our hearts to the Supreme Lord, pray to Him for guidance of getting out. Otherwise, we will end up coming back again and again and experiencing the same problems we are facing in this life, but in a different way, in another life, to ask Him to give us intelligence so that we can go back in this very life. And in such prayers, you will come to right conclusions and you will make the proper decisions, but you don't have to do what majority of us are doing without understanding the principles of Krishna consciousness clearly. We defend our position, like, eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. So we are defending our position by using all these examples of society is making me do all these things. But Prabhupada also mentions that if we adjust our life and become more simplistic, then things will become also easier. Maybe on some levels, you may have to continue working, but then the life at home should be very simple and it should not be stressful. It should be joyful. You should look forward to going home. Maybe you have nice Krishna conscious activities every day. So therefore, everyone is willing, although you work very hard and do everything, the joy of coming home to be Krishna conscious is so wonderful that the stress is not a big deal for you anymore. In fact, the stress goes away because you are connecting with Krishna and his devotees. But the problem in society is everyone buys a house, and what happens is the house becomes their universe. So we read about in the Shastra Brahmanda. So every home is a Brahmanda. So we want to be controllers in our own Brahmanda, and we don't want to let Krishna into our universe. And these are some of the problems. But as we mentioned, many of you are grihastas. Maybe you all should get together and figure out what are the things you all should do, what are the things you all can adjust, what are the things you can minimize. And then you'll find, because your intent is to be Krishna conscious, Krishna will give you the abilities, Krishna will give you the intelligence, Krishna will himself come and live in your homes. Yeah, I don't know anymore. I hope this is good enough.
Thank you very much. That's very nice. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Anyone else? Otherwise, we can end here. Right? Okay. I will stop here then. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.